Here we go. Guess what, everybody? Dr. Avellino's coming back here in a second. We're gonna crush this bad boy. I can't wait to get Tony on, talking about all kinds of fun stuff. It's always interesting to have Dr. Avellino with us and doing those things here. So I'm going to start the recording session for the radio show here and just let you know, with this little intro, here's where we're going. You're going to want to check this one out because this is going to be badass. I'm telling you. And I can say that because we're on Zoom and it's not on radio. So there you go. I could say an F-bomb too, which I'm getting really good at on video, you guys. So, I do those dad talk things in the morning. If you miss those things, you're missing out. If even Tony did a dad talk for us. I almost dropped the F-bomb there. I'm trying to be cool with that. I only drop the F-bombs on the dad talks in the morning because I'm getting ready to go in the gym and I'm getting fired up. So anyways, if I offended anybody in any of my dad talks, that's life. I mean, I could say too effing bad, but I won't because I'm going to be nice. All right, here we go. Let me get this recording session started. Love doing this stuff. So fun. What up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Tom Ed Show. So glad to be here. Brock was here last time. Don't hire the JV. When you're doing real estate transactions, don't play in this market with interest rates at 27. I mean, I'm just joking, everybody. But they are at 7.5 or something like that, which is like unheard of in these times. But actually, in my lifetime, that's not that unheard of. So for you young folks out there, yeah, the days of easy money, I don't think they're going to be sticking around. That's why you want to get a hold of Brock. Listen to those episodes with him. Reality of Real Estate on the website, tomedshow.com. All right. The Journey, I'm calling this one, with Dr. Anthony Avellino, my brother from another mother. We got to be such good friends. We are such good friends. We went and spent time at their home. Jen's awesome. Kids are great. I mean, it's just, the whole family's just dynamite. And we're just super close now. It's been wonderful. We're just talking about, how you build these friendships, everybody. And when you find these people, you got to be open to meeting new people. If you're open to meeting new people, you never know. So take it from me. And I'm going to throw this right over to my brother. I could do a little bit of his bio, but let me do this real quick. MD, MBA, professor of neurosurgery. Do I need to say more? Board certified pediatric adult neurosurgeon. That's enough. Let's get to the nitty gritty here. We know he's a total studly doctor. I want to welcome back to the radio program, Dr. Anthony Avellino. Tony, what's happening?
Tom,
how'd you like that?
it was a great, but I am very privileged and honored. It's actually great. It is great to be back. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. We usually do the This Is Your Life thing, and you can talk about Jen and Michael and Ashley if you'd like to say a few things about them. And then I got one I want to go to right after that. After you get done with that, I got to talk about our previous episode. So kind of go ahead and do the This Is Your Life because we got to do the family thing. You know how we do this. So please go right ahead. Tell everybody how everything's going and where you at, and give them the snapshot.
All right, Tom. Well, the thing, I've been at the University of Arizona. My wife is doing great. My daughter's a senior at Arizona State University, and my wife and I are very pleased that she just got into the Arizona State University Law School.
How awesome is that?
I mean, we are, Tom, I'm telling you, it's as you go through the journey of life is seeing your kids find their passion, find their purpose is really important. And Ashley loves to argue, and she will be a great advocate. So we are very, very proud of that. And my son is in the engineering school, and so he's been. He is a sophomore, and it's pretty surreal because Michael last year as a freshman, when I started Cornell in 1984, Michael was in the same dorm I was in 38 years prior. and it was pretty surreal because the dorm looks exactly the same. It's the same furniture, the same bathrooms, and but yeah, no, uh, but he is doing great, Michael. It's
That's
yeah,
that is an
yeah,
amazing, Tony. You never told me that. I'm so glad that you shared that with the listeners because that is a fantastic testament to your kids and your family. And it's like 38 years later, the same dorm. Here we
the
go with
same
higher.
dorm. It's
I
crazy.
could,
Yeah.
hey, I could go down the road of higher so many higher ed shows and journey into higher ed and all that kind of stuff, and how I'm such a huge proponent of higher ed as Tony is. And it's just like I could go down there right now, but we got too much to talk about with Tony. Well, family sounds fantastic. I'm so happy for you guys. And Michael and Ashley, they're just quality people. It just gives you guys a lot of credit, and a lot of credit goes to them too. They've done the lifting, done the work, and that's
Oh
what the
yeah,
kids do. We need
yeah.
to inspire them to do the work. Tell me about our last episode when we had that three-way conversation to Alaska and with your buddy up there, the crazy fisherman. Go ahead. Can you talk about that for a second?
Oh, sure. It's I often say that I've learned more on a crab fishing boat about leadership uh, than I have ever learned.
Tell,
And
tell the
and
listeners, tell the listeners
yeah,
who you're talking of right now. Go ahead.
yes. Uh, so I sometimes go up to Alaska in the Bering Sea, and I fish on fishing vessel Saga. And the Saga is a commercial crab fishing boat profiled on the Discovery show called The Deadliest Catch. And I must say, I often say that if we can do on a crab deck in the operating room, healthcare would be a lot safer. And I often say it's really about two things. One is how you effectively communicate with each other, knowing each other's strengths and weaknesses. But most importantly, it's really about uh, that teamwork, how you connect at the heart. Um, and I can impress upon is in any walks of life, having that ability to be on a team, connecting at the heart, really allows everyone to perform at their very best.
I don't know how else to follow that up. I mean, it was just you guys got to go find the interview. It's on YouTube. It's on our website. It's super easy to find. It's really, really good. The video stuff, I'm just gonna leave it here because we got a lot to talk about with Tony. But we did about an hour extra recording after that recording session, and it was classic. That's all I could say.
It was classic indeed.
Yeah, there was a lot of fisherman talk on that one, everybody. So if you want to go check out an interesting conversation, you got to go find that one on YouTube because that's on our show channel, Tom At Show, at Time At Show on YouTube, and you will find it and enjoy. All right, Tony, you sent me some great notes, and I'm going to just kind of do the high level right here because we got about 3 minutes to go before we go to break, but kind of let the listeners know where you want to drive this thing since you're my subject matter expert. But you talked about healthcare in Mid-Michigan, Lansing community, your journey, which I'd love to move your journey up to the top if you want, but we can go however you want to go. Listen, learn, heal. Dr. Avellino always brings great story and information. So Tony, why don't you kind of build on that a little bit, and then we'll go to break. You got about 2 minutes. Set up where you want to go between those topics I just mentioned. Yeah, I definitely going to be asking you about your journey. You know that, but go ahead, please.
Sure. I often say that the COVID pandemic has made many of us pause and really think about where they want to be. Um, and I must say that for me, after leaving Michigan a few years ago, my journey has taken me to different places. Um, but uh, but I must say that in order to enjoy life, uh, you really have to take risk, and when one journeys through life, having the ability to take risks, going into different situations, and being a continuous learner is actually key. And so uh, because as everyone goes through life, you actually make mistakes. There's regrets, but through those mistakes and regrets, you sort of learn enormous about yourself, and really you learn about what is your purpose and what you're most passionate about. Because at the end of the day, I often say it's not what you give, it's not what you take, but it's what you give. And I must say that you have more joy and gratitude giving back.
Hold that thought. That's Dr. Tony Avellino, Dr. Anthony Avellino. He's our resident, just a pediatric neurosurgeon. Works out at the University of Arizona. No big deal. I mean, we just roll here. Calling this one the journey. Seriously, got some good things coming at you. Stick around. We'll be right back with my brother from another mother, Dr. Tony Avellino. I'm Tom Matt. Beautiful. It was freaking awesome. See, after you do this a couple times, Tony, how it just starts to become second nature. We have such a good rapport, and it starts such a flow. It makes the experience really worthy of people's time. That's how I look at this stuff now. And I'm talking to the camera too, but seriously, I take this so seriously that to deliver good content to people that maybe change their lives, if one person hears our story today, Tony, it's worth it, man. That's that. And so we want to bring the best to all of our content so that I've learned from a lot of good people. I love talking to smart people like Tony. All right, let's get going here. Craig Reed. Do my sponsor, one of my other brothers. Here we go. Second segment of the Tom Matt Show is sponsored by Craig Styles, Ameriprise Financial. He is one of the finest men you will ever meet in your life. I am not exaggerating. You can listen to there's 25 episodes with Craig on our website. He's helped us so much, and I hope that he can continue to reach new people, because he's got all of our retirement zone savings, everything. He's handling it all. With the right financial advisor, life can be brilliant. Craig's the man. Call him 1-800-528-1355, 517-483-4893 is the local number. Craig.styles@ampf.com. Offices are located at 2400 Lake Lansing Road. Suite B is in brilliant Lansing, Michigan, 48912. That does not, don't let that ever change your mind about calling Craig for assistance in different parts of the country, because we're all over the place with the podcast. No, you can do that. Reach out to him, hit that 800 number, hit the email, because Ameriprise is massive. They're a huge company, just like Brock, our four segment sponsor, with Keller Williams. That's the thing about these guys. These guys are big, and they can handle anything you want to do. So stations who have carried us in the past still carry us to this day. I always like to acknowledge them all, because they're just so kind to do that. WGHN 92.1 FM in Grand Haven, carrying us first, always first, because they were the first carriers on broadcast radio, and we love Grand Haven. Grand Haven is the bomb. One of the best beaches in the world, no question about it. WGIM 1240 AM in Lansing, flagship of the Michigan Talk Network. WGRW 1340 in Grand Rapids. WKLQ 1490 Muskegon Whitehall. WYPV FM 94.5 Mackinac City, and WKAR AM 870 News Talk Michigan State University. Go Green 102.3 FM. Craig, thank you again for creating Desideri Analytics so our money can continue to be safe, and I don't have to think about it, because I got things to do. And Steve and Ivy Gruber, you guys are the best too, for putting us on the Michigan Talk Network, and I'm so grateful to you all for the coaching and the love that you are always showing us for a long time now. And of course, Amazon has our 4 books. Back to Dr. Avellino. I got some great notes going on here, and then we got stuff to talk about. Tony, great having you back, man. It's just fun to talk to you, and let's just start right at the top of your list here, because I was going to go with your journey, but let's just stick with the top of the list and go with healthcare in Mid-Michigan. That's a huge topic, and as the aging of the population, we need to understand that serving the community is paramount to the success of the community. And they're trying, and Lansing's growing in such great ways. The refinement zone, I say it all the time. The refinement zone is Lansing. That's it. That's where it's where it started, right here. So please, can you talk about that healthcare in Michigan and serving the community?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Michigan is one of those states that healthcare is truly transforming. Uh, is if you look at all the various big healthcare systems, if it's core uh, or if it's McLaren Health System, uh, if it's Sparrow, if it's MSU, but the healthcare economics is changing so fast because if you really look at mid Michigan right now is the collaboration between Michigan State University and Henry Ford, uh, how Spectrum Health uh, uh, has actually merged and Spectrum Health has been actually getting bigger, how the University of Michigan uh, is their health system is actually getting bigger and bigger. But what I really like to just impress upon is in mid Michigan, having a hospital like Sparrow Hospital is truly a gem. Because when I was there, I practiced there. And I must say that Sparrow being the only level trauma center in mid Michigan really gives, really elevates the level of care. Um, uh, and I would say that throughout my 20 plus career is working at a trauma hospital that really embodies the mission and vision, cares for everyone, is there in people's crisis. And if you look at the tragic events that happened in Lansing over the last few years, uh, is the shooting at MSU, but Sparrow really, I hope people in the community appreciate uh, the amount of extraordinary and outstanding care that Sparrow gives. And I think now as MSU healthcare gets bigger, University of Michigan gets bigger. I'm a true believer that anything that creates competition is going to elevate the bar. Because at the end of the day, um, what's really important is having the ability to provide the best quality and patient safety with the best outcomes. Um, and Sparrow being a level trauma center has a breadth of physicians, a breadth of resources, and it's really an extraordinary place. And to have that hospital in the community of Mid Michigan in combination with MSU Healthcare and McLaurin truly elevates the level of healthcare.
Well, I just think that you're absolutely right. And to recruit good talent, Doctor Anthony Avellino is our guest today. Everybody, we're calling this one the journey. Tony's a very very good friend, and we became very close. And we spent time at Tony and Jen's house last winter, and it was wonderful. And part of our trip out to Arizona, it was absolutely spectacular. And Tony learned a lot about the Mid Michigan community while he was here, and I told him that if he ever thought about if I could ever recruit this guy to come back to Michigan, maybe I'm going to do everything I could because this guy's we got to be really good friends, and you know how it is when you make friends with people in the world, valuable people who are can only have so many people in your bubble, everybody. I talk about the bubbles. Tony, I got a minute to go before we go to break. Just set it up for when we come back, we'll talk more about the Lansing community, but set it up and then we'll take a quick break.
Sure. Yeah, the Lansing community is a wonderful community to raise a family, and being away from Lansing and Okemos the last few years gave me a great appreciation the breadth of opportunities that are there.
That is really well said. I have to say thank you for that. because I 150% agree with you. Cost of living here is very reasonable. The
Uh-huh.
transformation that is coming it's underway as I drive around, because now I live back in Lansing. Everybody, Tony, I'm going to take this through to break here. As I said, we're going to come up on break, everybody. So let me reset this whole thing. Tony, Dr. Tony Avellino's with us. We got some other points we're going to talk about as much as we can, because I get wordy with Tony, and the stories are so good. But yeah, that story about Sparrow, that was rock solid. I want to know more about the Sparrow story, because, we have the deep McLaren roots in our family, but the Sparrow story, as Tony said, is something that is very, very unique, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's unbelievable. All right. We'll be right back. The Journey, Dr. Anthony Avellino. Tony, I'm Tom Matt. Thank you so much for joining us. All I can say is I love doing radio because it's so fucking fun. And
Yeah,
I can say that because it's during our video break, and it's kind
but
of some. But I'm telling you guys, and I apologize if I offend anybody that's watching the video for the radio program. I do get salty, and I mean it as an expression of like excitement and enhancement. So please don't get offended with it, because the young people don't. I'm telling you right now that our language, unfortunately, Tony, you can comment on this, but it's changed. I didn't want to say it's gone down, because who am I to judge that? I mean, who am I, the old guy, to judge? I used to be this way. But what do you think? Things change.
oh yeah, no, and I must say that just watching your Tom Macho grow, you know, your ability to story tell is really very powerful.
Thank you.
It's
Appreciate that.
because as you and I discussed, I wish I knew today 30 years ago,
Yeah.
because we would be a lot more at peace. But also, as you go through the journey of life, you have to have those ups and downs, because if you don't have those ups and downs, you'll never learn.
Well,
And
the other thing too
yeah,
is what I'm finding now at this point for me, since I've made my retirement jump, it's like you appreciate it more. You got to be honest. Mortality is real. It's always there. My dad passed this summer. That makes that things even more real. And it's like, hey, do everything you can, everybody, to take care of yourself first. Get that squared away, so you can help other people be better, and your family be a good example. And that's why I talk about this stuff, and it feels so passionate about it. And you can look at that's why I do a lot of the sleeveless stuff when I do the morning stuff, because I want people to see an older guy who's in shape. And it's like, I'm not trying to, it's a visual thing, because
bodybuilder.
it's just being fit. I'm not,
Mm.
I'll never be a bodybuilder. I mean, I did the one show a long time ago, when I was 50, but Tony, you know how it is. The facts speak for the facts. And this isn't even part of our radio recording, everybody. You're just getting this pro bono on the flip side of the break. But the stats, the literature, the empirical evidence is out there on the benefit of exercise and health. I mean, there is absolutely, Tony, do we want to talk about this during the segment? I mean,
Sure.
we can't.
Yeah.
All right,
We
let's go
actually
there.
should.
All right, everybody. So
Yeah,
you who
yeah,
are watching the video,
yeah.
you're going to get what the finishing thoughts on this bad boy, because exercise and longevity. This is not part of our bulleted anything, but that's the way we always do this around here. So we just roll, baby. Exercise and longevity. Let Dr. Avellino just riff on that one for a second. Hold on. I got to do my read. Here we go. Love doing this stuff. So much fun. Third segment of the Tom Matt Show, sponsored by me. Kind of funny to say. I've never said it that way before, but it's true. I mean, this thing is, I think, going to become sponsored by someone pretty soon. So I got to get my own stuff in here. All right. Quickest way to get a hold of us, website, tommattshow.com. We're on all the socials, including TikTok, which is actually, crazily enough, doing pretty well. And I've kind of figured that one out. YouTube's awesome. the whole thing, everything's bomb. It's continually learning and working. And do I make mistakes? Yes, I make mistakes. Okay. That's how you learn. Tony was talking about that. Dr. Avellino, our guest today, was talking about that one of the earlier segments about just continual education throughout life. Absolutely spot on. For me, guys, I'm the non-traditional student from in my all my 40s, from undergrad to graduate school, and it's just like, and it was challenging. I'm telling
It's
you right now.
tough.
Our mission here at this radio program is to build an engaged society and team. That's it. 3 C's: community, collaboration, cooperation. I'm gonna leave it there because I want to get back to Dr. Avellino. But one last thing, the RFZ, the refinement zone, like we're talking about with Mid-Michigan, and we're going to parlay that into when we get back to talking about Lansing in a second here. But we're just so grateful for the refinement zone. And when you got a choice when you come up to your retirement stuff, it's retirement or it's refinement. It's your choice. Now it can go like, it doesn't have to be a straight thing, but I want you to realize that. And that's your choice. All right. So coming from me, and I coach a lot of people. All right, Dr. Avellino. First, we're going to go off topic for just a moment because during break, we started, like always, chit-chatting about chit-chatting. Exercise, right from the doctor's mouth. Exercise, the connection between exercise and lifelong longevity and health. Would you please give us the Dr. Avellino, whatever you want to give us on that one, please?
Sure. As a nurser, I am a bit biased, but I often say that having a healthy mind is as important as having a healthy physical body. And for me, as I often say, is in order to be your best, I often say, in order to perform your best, performance equals skill minus interference. And what I mean by that, if you're an elite scholar, elite radio host, whatever you do, you can have all the skill in the world, but if you can't block out your interference, whatever your interference is, if you're not mentally well, if you're not mentally prepared, if you're not happy and satisfied, if you're not doing purposeful work, if you're not showing compassion for yourself, if you're not in healthy relationships, it's going to be very difficult to perform at that highest level. And over the last 4 or 5 years, is my journey has been is how to get people to optimize their performance in mind, body, and spirit.
You've done a lot of work in that field, haven't you, Tony? People probably don't realize you've done a lot of research and you did some deep dive on high level athletics while you were at Michigan State and how to get these performance, all of that quality of life issue. You were working really deeply in that, weren't you?
Yeah, because what Michigan State has been through has the tragic times, but you have to develop a culture of high-level performance, a culture of quality and safety, a culture of connecting. And I often say in the wellness space, that's why I think exercise is one of the most important things that you can do. But I often say is anything that brings down your level of stress. Is it exercise? Is it gardening? Is it reading? Is it listening to music? Is it your faith? But anything that lessens that stress level, lessens the cortisol levels in your body, the lessened cortisol levels, the less of inflammation, and inflammation affects everything from your gut to your brain to your joints to your muscles. But I often say you have to embrace wellness. So how do you embrace wellness? By training your body, your craft, and your mind.
Love it. Embrace wellness. I'm writing that down. I just stole that.
Embrace wellness by training your body, your craft, and your mind. And I'll argue that those 3 things, each one of those 3 things are just as important as each other. Is because you have to have a healthy body, you have to have a healthy mind, and you have to have a healthy craft. And in order to be your best, in order to find joy, in order to find happiness in your life, because ultimately that's what we want. And one's joy and one's happiness is very, very different. But it really gets down to the purpose, but we can talk more later because I think expressing gratitude helps too. Because
that's
again, anything
that's where the exercise. I personally, and we'll get back on topic here, everybody. I mean, it's not like we're off topic or anything, but the blood flow to the brain. And I've read a lot of brain books. I mean, when I first started in radio, I was all about helping the Alzheimer's Association learn about the Alzheimer's Association. Want to learn all about that. I interviewed doctors. Those were my first experts on this radio program 13 years ago. And so having Dr. Avellino now, and having a little bit of being able to understand what he's saying and relating to the new technologies that we have now, because that's a whole nother show. I mean, it's incredible what you can do, but the exercise and longevity, there is absolutely a direct correlation between the two. There's no question about it. And go look at my videos. That's why I do goofy sleeveless videos, because I want people to understand that in your 60s and 70s, you can still be in good physical condition. It's awesome. Just do it. All right, back to Lansing community, bro. Thank you for that explanation on the exercise and longevity and all of that too. There's so much that we could talk about, but let's get back to Lansing community for the rest of this segment, please. And just from your perspective, because you've been around the country a lot. I mean, you're very talented. You lived out east. You're from New York. A lot of people don't know all of that with your story, the Tony story. You can weave that in and out too, because you've been all over the country. Your skill set is so high end. You're such a great administrator. It's like, well, you're in high demand, and you big executives and doctors, so please share what you have for the opinion of Mid-Michigan. You got about 2.5, 3 minutes here. I'll give you a little window. Go ahead.
Yeah. So as a person that was raised in New York City, then went to the West Coast in Seattle on the train, and then lived in Illinois and in the Midwest. It gave me a great appreciation of the difference between the Midwest, the East, and West Coast. And I must say that when Jan and I left Seattle, we thought it was going to be an adventure, but moving to Midwest was challenging at first. But I must say that being away from Michigan, though, the last few years, I can honestly say that Ashley and Michael, my two children, really thrive, because Lansing is one of those communities that has the Midwestern nice. It has MSU being a land grant university. There's a breadth of opportunities, a breadth of resources there. There's a lot of top-notch schools here, the elementary schools, the high schools, and it's a really family-oriented place. And it's sort of this small town city that has lots of the amenities that the big cities have. And as you said, Tom, it's a very cost-effective place for buy a home, to live. And also, I mean, it's in an area that's very, very close. You can go to Grand Rapids, you can actually go to Detroit. And so it's sort of in the middle. It, it's in the middle of everything. But most importantly, the thing that I think Jen and I learned, it's a very family-oriented community that young families can really thrive.
All right, we'll leave it there. We got to go to break here. Dr. Anthony Avellino is the voice you just heard playing up Mid-Michigan, and I'm just about wanting to cry because it's so great, because this guy knows. He's lived all over the country, and it's so nice to hear, and it's true. So if you're hearing this and you're in Outer Mongolia, listen to the Tom Matt Show, welcome to the refirement zone, baby. Right back. Just, I had 12 years to get better at this, Tony, and just grind at this radio thing, and just, found a little niche. And then the training, the personal training, and really understanding, because I've really kind of, as I told you on the other call, put it together. And the reason I bring that up is because just what you were just saying, it's like we have to be accountable for ourselves, and our families need us. And it's like, and our message needs to get out, Tony. I'm trying to move this little thing over. I got something messed up here. Oh, there you go. Okay. But anyways, sorry, I was distracted for a second. It's a wonderful area. Doing radio is fantastic. And we just got to, I feel like we have an obligation to help the world get better with a good voice. It's like, because there's a lot of negative bullshit out there.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's why I do those
Yeah.
hashtag dad talks every morning. And I've told people, let me tell my video. I don't think I've ever said this on video, but 50% of those hashtag dad talks I do every morning now, and I'm committed to doing those, is for me, because I'm still healing. And it's like, this whole everything, change of life, my dad dying, all this kind of stuff. It's just been, and you just got to be resilient. And I got people that depend on me, and it's, and I want people to just be happy and healthy. So, and that's what Tony wants too, right, Tony? I mean, shit, man. It's like,
No, the thing is, I think in order to get a point across, sometimes the powerful storytelling that you do is actually really important. And I'm smirking because I remember when we first met about 6 or 7 years ago at Brody Hall. I
yep.
remember the first interview I did 6, 7 years ago. The amazing that technology has exploded. Because if you look at you right now, I mean, the technology that you use now is so
Yep.
portable compared to,
Yep.
and it's amazing. I mean, it just keeps on changing. And then
Oh, it's incredible.
and then the whole social media aspect of it that we actually can talk more about it. But I
Oh,
think you can use it in a healthy way, like you're doing. But you can also use it in an unhealthy way.
absolutely. Just, that's
Yeah.
like everything though. It's like having medications that serve a great purpose, but then they're corrupted and turned into poison in our country. And, because fentanyl is actually it's been around a long time. It's a very powerful drug, and it's like, it's very helpful to people that need it in the right way. And so then we have all this. So yeah, I mean, but that's why we need to be around to help people understand, be there, share some good words and some good stories, and just, you guys do with it what you, because I'm just throwing it out there. You guys, all of you out there, you're going to make that choice. We're
No.
just
Yeah.
we're just trying to give you a seed of thought. Okay. That's what we're doing here with this radio program. Let's get back to it, Tony. It's like, shit, man, we could ramble on for freaking 4 hours, man. I'm getting kind of hungry here.
I know.
Tell you
I'm
the
sure
truth,
you're. It's a little
it's,
late there.
yeah, it's a
It's
little
early
late.
here
That's
in
all right.
Arizona,
But
but
to get
still.
you to it was like, oh man, I gotta make, yeah, heck yeah, for sure. All right, here we go. Let's get rolling here. I gotta do my Brock. My other brother from another mother. Love Brock. Big MSU fan. Here we go. If you guys knew what went on behind the scenes, which you do now, because if you watch the videos, you can see all of it, which I encourage you to do that, especially on shows like this, because I was just talking about our sponsor of this segment, Brock Fletcher, and what a great Spartan he is. It's just so much fun. Tony and I are talking about healthy living, and we're just both getting all pumped up because that's what we're talking about here on the radio program. Before we jump back into it, though, let's throw some love over to Brock, because if you want an experienced and effective real estate agent and team, use our team. And again, full disclosure for both of our sponsors, we use their services. We have used their services. We are customers. Okay. Full disclosure. That's why they're sponsors, because we trust them and we've used them. And so you guys can trust them and use them. And if you don't, if you have a problem, you let me know, because I'm about 100% sure you're not going to have a problem. So go check out Brock. You want to work with the agent you can trust. He's the man. Brock. He's our man. Here you go. Some numbers. 517-853-6408. Okay, you get that? But here's the key, super secret. 517-303-3262, or go to kwsellingteam.com. kwsellingteam.com. Or, as I probably forgot to say in the other segments, because I'm excited to have Tony on the show today, it's everything's on the website, tommattshow.com. The banner's at the bottom. If you want to just do one-stop shopping, You want to listen to Tony's episode? You want to listen to Michael Avellino's episode? Yeah, I mean, whatever. Go to the website. Then you can go down the bottom and you can click on it. And I think we got Tony's book up there too. So you can go find. It's a plethora. Now, Amazon has it too. So, we talked about that on another show. Anyways, Brock, big Michigan State guy. He'll sell your home without hassles, like he did for us. Sold it and we bought. Okay. Most agents start marketing after you list with them. Not Brock. He is a forward-thinking, proactive machine. And when you contact him on his cell phone, that radio, that 303 number I gave you, 303-3262, you're going to get a voicemail message that he changes daily, and he hits his timelines every day. The guy will say, I'm returning calls at between here and here. And as far as phone etiquette goes, which I just totally appreciate since I was in the telecom industry for 40 years, training people on how to use phones, I told him he's got the best phone etiquette ever. That's why you can trust Brock Fletcher. So go get Brock, call him up, and he is the man. Just like my brother from another mother. I got all these brothers from another mother. Love it. I can't have enough brothers from another mother. What do you think, Tony? I mean, Tony, Dr. Avellino's with us today. How many can you have too many brothers from another mother?
Absolutely not. Is having friendships, having relationships uh, keeps your life joyful.
That is, there you go. Profound. All right. Where are we going now, man? Listen, learn, heal. We got your journey. You talked a little bit about that, but I think that you should, tell everybody, you did play college football, which is hard to believe that this guy with the $1 million hands who goes on fishing boats in the Bering Sea. That's what Jake Anderson was talking about with these $1 million, $5 million, $10 million hands this guy's got. And he's like about ready to get thrown into the ocean. Talk about the days when you were playing football and because that kind of helps us get into the listen, learn, heal for the rest of the show. And you started learning over there at Cornell and before. And what'd you learn when you were a kid before you got to Cornell?
Yeah, I often say that if I knew today 30 years ago, I'd be a lot more at peace. But the thing is, when you're young, you're always trying to climb, right? And you don't have the ability to pause, because you're going through school, you go through high school, you get to college, you get your job, you go to graduate school, you have a significant other, you get married, you have a car, you have a boat, and you're just climbing. And I think what the COVID pandemic has done, it's given us the opportunity to pause. Because I often say that if we can pause, at least for 15 minutes every month, just imagine how powerful that would be. Is really, if you pause, it's really the ability to check in with yourself, because oftentimes you don't pause, and in fact, when I'm trying to, I'm reading my notes here, but if you take a 1% pause uh, every month, uh, just to listen, learn, and heal, it's amazing how powerful that is.
I totally agree. I 100, 200, I wrote the 200% solution. I 200% agree with that statement because
Yeah,
the
yeah,
power of a pause in a
uh-huh,
moment, even if it's right, Tony, even if it's 5 seconds,
uh-huh. So,
big.
yeah, but I'm just reading. So if you take a 1% pause every day, that's 15 minutes. And just imagine how powerful that would be.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. So in our bullets, the impact others by, I'd love for you to just go ahead and just start riffing on those things. I don't even need to intro these things. These are just perfectly
Sure.
written. So
Yeah,
please start at your top and you just go ahead and intro
yeah,
your own stuff because I want to hear you talk about what you sent over because it's just it's the people need to hear you. Go ahead, please.
yeah. like I said in the beginning, is as one ages and as you lose your parents, your friends, your mentors, it gives you perspective. And I often say it's not what you take from this world, it's what you give back. And so, first off, how you leave others better than how we found them. Or two is how we ourselves can be better today compared to when we started years ago. And I think having an impact on others, uh, I think this is really important because one is you want to show kindness, you want to show respect, you want to show generosity, uh, but also taking the time to be with them. Because I, the word listening comes up. You know, you listen, but I often say you have to be an effective listener. You have to be all in. You have to be all engaged. You have to stay in the moment. You have to stay in the present. You have to be absolutely committed to listening. Um, and, and I often say that listening to a friend or a colleague or someone is very powerful because I often say you can truly save a life by just listening. Third is how you're interested in their life. Because, like I said in the beginning, I've learned more from being on the Bering Sea and a crab fishing boat, but how you connect at the heart with a friend or colleague. Because I think if you connect at the heart, you have a sense of trust. And if you have trust, your the anxiety levels go down and your performance goes up. Because if you don't have trust, your anxiety level goes way up and your performance goes way down. But also asking about their life, learning about their lives, because you never know what goes on behind closed doors. You know, is with all the social media out there, everyone has a perfect life. You know,
You
like
think you
yeah,
think you know.
yeah. Like I mean, one example I give is when my daughter got into law school a few weeks ago. We actually we actually uh, we took her out. And I remember at the restaurant, she ordered this food, and the first thing she did was took a picture of it and she posted it, right? You
Yeah.
know, and I mean, it's like, you know, but I, uh, but also being accountable. Uh, but 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 the thing is,
You
yeah, I, you know, is being accountable, being present. Uh, being available is actually really important. You know,
Tony, Tony, leave it there for a sec because I'm going to take it to break. Okay, that was so well done. We'll come back. We're going to finish this. Perfect. We got this thing all set up just right for you guys. But being accountability is something that I have talked about on radio forever, and I will continue to talk about accountability because I want to hold myself accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable before you can hold other people accountable. That's the way it works. And so that's where respect comes from, and that's where, coming from the heart and the trust, as Tony was saying. So then you take away all that stress and that anxiety. Because for me personally, and I tell people this, I'm kind of like the one strike rule, everybody. I trust everybody, but one strike trust wise or doubt, and I'll be cutting you loose because my brain can't handle it. And my brain is like, just wants to love everybody and believe
mhm.
everybody and just do the work. That's it. So if the doubt comes in, you're out. Not this guy though. Dr. Anthony Avellino's our guest, calling it the journey. Of course. Last segment coming up for most of you. For the rest of you, pick it up on the podcast. Beautiful. So awesome.
Good, Tom. Yeah,
Rock right in here. Now,
yeah,
this is
very
typically,
good.
hey, Tony, this is typically where we do plug for you. And so if you want to plug the book, if you want to plug your email, if you want to plug speaking engagements, whatever you'd like to, um, or nothing or anything or whatever you want to do, because this
Sure,
is,
sure.
and then we'll jump back into it. Now, we have your notes work perfect. So I'm going to start it that impact yourself by, and I'm just going to give it just hand it back to you again. And we got another good 8-9 minutes to talk. So just let you the way you were riffing on it. I jump in every now and then, but I love listening to you talk.
Okay,
So do your thing, man. Here we go. It's all good.
great. Well, the other thing is how
You
you
ready?
yeah, oh, go for
Are
it.
you ready to go?
Already.
Okay. All right. I'm going to start the recording right now. The
Okay.
radio. Here we go. We don't know where the break ends and where the segment begins when I have Tony on the show. I mean, it happens with some guests. Welcome back, everybody. Tom Metcho. If you're just joining us, Dr. Anthony Avellino's here. The guy's just a pediatric neurosurgeon. No big deal. Former college football player. Yeah, no big. I like hanging with guys that just, kind of slouches, if you can hear what I'm saying. So if you want to get a hold of the slouch, Dr. Avellino, and everybody knows I'm joking, right? If you're looking at this thing and you're going, Tom, you're being so mean to your friend. Tony and I love each other. We, if you heard how we talked off, you guys, come on. Brother from another mother, we get to bust each other's chops all the time, don't we? So, Tony, how do people get a hold of you? What are you doing? What do you want people to know about? Go right ahead, please. Plug away.
Yeah. So as many of you probably know, is I wrote a book called Finding Purpose: A Neurosurgeon's Journey of Hope and Healing.
Great book.
If you actually want to get a copy, you just go on Amazon. But it really sort of outlines my journey, how to find purpose. Um, but so yeah, so the last segment we were really talking about how you impact others by showing kindness, respect, trust, but what I like to do next is really how to impact yourself, because as Tom and I were speaking, is how to perform at your best, how to be your best. And we were actually discussing how you embrace your wellness by training your body, your craft, and your mind.
Well, Tony, I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned that earlier in the episode, the craft thing. When you refer to craft, I'm not trying to be a bonehead, everybody. I'm seriously, I want to ask the question because I'm not quite clear on it. Are you referring to like your employment, the job that you do?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
okay?
So,
I just wanted to make sure
with
that
the craft,
everybody
yeah.
understood. Yeah. So your occupation, your craft. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Thank
Well,
you.
it could be your personal hobby or your actual job too.
I love it. I think great.
Like if you're a musician, do that on the side. If you exercise, but so I mean,
Yeah.
how do you keep on improving yourself? And
Right. Right.
so craft, I would say it's more how you keep on improving yourself around your job and things that bring you joy. Yeah. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah. And
Absolutely.
so like Tom and I mentioned, is having a healthy body is as important as having a healthy mind, and so really having your ability to find your purpose, what brings you peace. And I often ask the question: do you do one thing every week that brings you peace? Um, uh, Another question I ask for older people is: do you see your grandkids at least once a week? Uh, for the younger folks, do you drive your kids to school at least once a week? Um, and when I talk about sort of work-life balance and things like that, it's not about working less, but it's working more efficiently, and then making priorities that are important to you, and have the ability to say no to things that you're unable to do. But yeah, so I mean, some things. How you impact yourself is it gets with that equation: performance equals skill. Interference. You can have all the skill in the world, but if you can't block out that interference, and so what are those things? So making time for to rest, making me time. I know for me, it's every weekend I go on these long runs, and all my friends and colleagues know that certain times in the morning on Saturdays, unless I'm on call, it's that sort of me time. And so making that me time for things that bring joy. Secondly is how
You've been
you
running that, Tony, excuse me, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm
yeah,
curious. Have you been running that long through all through college? And have you been
yeah,
a
for a
runner
long
your
time.
whole life?
Yeah, from my
Dude,
football
you're
days, marathon
wow.
to
I
yeah,
I admire
yeah.
you more than I ever did. I mean, and we're
Well,
not just
you're
talking
very
running,
kind.
everybody.
You're,
Tony Avellino is like an ultra marathoner who runs through like the Grand Canyon. I mean, it's nuts. And so you've been running since that's pretty good as a trainer. I admire the heck out of that because a lot of people can't do that. Their knees can't handle
yeah,
that. How
yeah.
do you
But Tom, like you're not, but you have to do things that bring you actually joy. Like your workouts bring you peace, you bring like
yeah.
joy, and I often say that my running brings me peace, brings me
Yep.
joy, and I'm a lot better father,
Sharpens
I'm a lot better
sharpens
friend.
the
Yeah,
makes the tool in the
yeah,
toolbox a better tool.
yep. Oh no,
I
I'm with you. Yeah, but
totally,
uh,
man.
but yeah. So I mean, uh, other things, practicing gratitude.
Oh,
I often say is
huge.
do you do one kindness every day and and as and as some of your listeners may or may not know, but Jim Pignataro was one of the executive athletic directors at MSU, and Jim was a very faithful, positive person, and when Jim passed a few years ago, my wife and I always tell ourselves, what would Jim do? And Jim Pignataro showed such gratitude for others, and so, but also, when you make a mistake or uh, uh, when you're not proud of a thing, how you sort of learn from those mistakes, because showing compassion for yourself, not beating yourself up, and in Seattle, one of my mentors used to say, you have to have the 24-hour, and it's a lot easier said than done. But if something goes wrong or someone upsets me, you can steward it for 24 hours, but yeah, then you have to move forward, and but also like you and I discussed, taking care of your physical and mental health. But then lastly, that I just want to hit off. I mean, you and Sandy have very dear friends, but how you spend time with family, friends, coworkers that support you, that pick you up, uh, and how you can develop those trusting relationships. Because at the end of the day, it's all about how you develop those relationships that brings you the most joy.
That's Dr. Anthony Avellino, and that was greatness. All right, I want to recap all of the things that we talked about with the show in case people are just joining us, and we got a couple minutes to go before we wrap this thing, and we're in the fifth segment. So through this segment, Tony, I'm gonna throw it to you and just take a minute on each of the four. Just make it real quick. Talk about healthcare in mid-Michigan and serve your community. Give everybody a recap on that.
Uh, the healthcare in mid-Michigan with the various healthcare systems, MSU Healthcare, but also Sparrow Hospital being the only trauma hospital in mid-Michigan. Uh, truly is an extraordinary because
How big, Tony, how big is that? So people maybe they don't understand. And I'm kind of murky on it myself. How important is it for a region to have a trauma center like they have at Sparrow? Is that
yeah,
like a really, really big deal?
yeah. So I mean, it's critical because if you're injured by a car accident or a fire or something bad occurs, having that community resource that you don't have to be airlifted hours away, having that resource in the community, rapid response is really important. And so I hope people understand how important to have a level of trauma center and extraordinary care that Sparrow Hospital does.
All right, quickly, let's talk about Lansing community, where Sparrow's located. Your vibe on that, living all over the country.
Yeah, I mean the Lansing is a very family-oriented community. that has a breadth of opportunities. It has that big city feel, small town. Because if you want to do a Broadway show, if you want to do a basketball game, a football game, if you want to do Major League Sports, it's very, very close. And so it's sort of in an area in Michigan that you have an opportunity to do all sorts of things. You can go up north, you can go hiking, you can go swimming, you can go east and west.
It's a beautiful, very unique area of the country, and we have a lot of fresh water. Tony, I only got a minute to go here. Recap that listen, learn, heal, would you please? Can you just take a quick snapshot of that, and then I'll wrap this thing, please?
Yeah. Everyone makes mistakes. You must rebound. You must continuously improve yourselves. You can't beat yourself up. You have to show compassion, but I often say you have to listen, you have to learn, you have to heal. What I mean by that is you never know what goes behind closed doors. Everyone has their own story. So how you listen to your story and others, but how you heal, how you learn from it. But ultimately is how you heal from it, because learning and healing, I truly feel, are very, very different. You can learn, but you may not heal. But you have to learn from it, but you have to move forward. So,
Let me
Tom,
tell you, our guest today, Dr. Anthony M. Avellino, MD, MBA, professor of neurosurgery, board certified pediatric adult neurosurgeon, complete, just great guy. Awesome. Doing my best to try to, recruit him, have him change his mind and move him from the desert Southwest, where he has an absolutely spectacular home, because I stayed there and it was awesome. But someday maybe we can get this talent back in our community. That would be pretty sweet. If our show fits your business or group's mission, we want to be of service to you. Always remember, before you can share love with others, you must love yourself first. Like to say it. Thanks to Sandy, Craig, Dr. Avellino, Brock, everybody. We'll talk to you next weekend, everybody. It's just a pleasure to bring you this radio program. We're a product of Boomers Rock Media. Last thing I'd like to say is the man behind the glass, Mitch Anderson. Have a great week, everybody.
Tom, you're an extraordinary storyteller, and you should
It's so
be
much fun,
really
man.
proud. Yeah, I'm telling you, you should be, because when we first did this 6 or 7 years ago, it's an amazing how you have improved your craft.
Oh, thanks, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
So I mean,
Hey,
yeah. So
you know what, Tony? It comes down to
yeah,
reps. It really does
yeah.
come down to reps, and then
Oh,
finding
sure.
a passion play,
Uh-huh.
and keeping my saw sharp, and training that woman that I worked with today, who's such a good friend.
Huh.
And she's just like, wow, your energy looks great. And I said, you know what? I got to walk my walk, and I want to be healthy for my family. And it's like, my friends, you guys are so important to me. And it's just critical. I got to save this project. So it's just, yeah, Tony, it's just, I'm so grateful. And I think we did a really good job. We are still recording, and I am going to politics so that, the people who watch this thing, I am politicking my butt off to have Tony really, really consider coming back in some capacity, to mid-Michigan, because you can always use talent. I mean, I recruit students constantly who I know from the gym, from my meetings I meet with students all the time. They're all over the place. They're all awesome. The ones that I'm close to, we don't play. They're seriously good kids. And so we need to help our kids out by being good leaders and stepping up. So that's what I'm doing. That's why we're doing the Dad Talks in the morning, and we're having guys like Tony Avellino on. Tony, I appreciate all your kindness and all of your nice words about self-improvement. But you know what? We just want to get better together, don't we? We just want to get better, because you help my show get better, and you are getting better at this. And it's like, when you hear this and see it, you're going to go, damn, pretty freaking good. And my editing skills are getting better. And so it's like, it's just been a process, man. You got to learn this stuff. And I like the tech stuff, and I wanted to build a platform where we could put people's, messages out there. And I told you, like you did that one on Father's Day, you saw that.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. It was actually. Yeah.
When you have a feeling like that, Tony, just record it and send it to me.
I will. Yeah.
I'll put it up, because the
No, but,
hashtag dad talk's gonna blow up. I mean, you Google
uh-huh.
search it now, you find me. So it's
Right,
like
right.
that's what we wanted. You just got to be consistent with it every day. And it's very important for us to just build awareness and be leaders. We're fathers. I'm a grandfather. You will be a grandfather soon.
Well, I'm
And,
not. Well,
well,
hold on.
I don't know. Well, someday, let's just say
Yeah,
someday, because we're
exactly.
living a hell of a lot longer. So even if you're a grandparent when you're 70, you're still a young man. And so
Yeah.
anybody that's watching this, anybody that is under the age of 100, you're still young. I don't give a rat's ass what you think, but if you get that far and you're even if you're just shuffling around, like I hope I am, because I'm going to do everything I can to be shuffling around. Damn it, God darn it, Tony.
Good. Yeah, yeah, Tom. Yeah, I
Hey,
hope that worked out fine.
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And the video will be great, and then close, and then I do a little closing
Yeah,
segment now,
good.
and then I
Okay.
got to do some promo, so a little bit of production work. But hey, it's passion play, baby. It's passion play. It's been
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
today
what?
was a
Yeah,
kind of a really busy day for me,
yeah,
and
yeah.
because usually it's pretty casual. I just I
Mhm.
go train at the gym and play around over there, and I've got it so in my head that playing at the gym in the morning is so good for me that it's mindless, and I just go in there and just have fun, and it's like the students can tell, and it's just like let's just go have fun and just I'll show you anything. What do you want to know? Help them out. And there's a lot of things I don't know, but I worked with a trainer today. She had a dislocated knee problem, and I videoed her and I taught her something I've been doing for my knee strength, and I videoed her, and then I sent it to her, and I said, "See, now we looked at her mechanics, Tony, in 20-second video. This is how these tools are so powerful. With my phone as a trainer, I videoed her walking on this treadmill, and we saw everything that was wrong
Hmm.
with her gait. Her gait
Wow.
was so fucked up. She had no idea. And
Huh.
she did, but she did. And then when I showed it to her, I said, "Hey, look at this." And she was like, "Wow." I said, "Now you know where you need to work on things as much as possible. You might not be able to correct it all, but anytime, if you dislocate a joint, I've got a dislocated shoulder, and that's always going to be it's always a weak link. It's some point. So you got to deal with it. You got to manage it." And so it was interesting because the video was sweet. It was 20 seconds long, and it was like immediately you could see it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, somebody's walking backwards on a treadmill with one of my bands. That's what at a high incline, I had her walking. And so you got stress on, and they're walking backwards, Tony, and they're putting stress on that band. So they're sort of floating in space, but they're walking on a treadmill at kind of a slow pace, but a high incline. You can see some shit. Like if you watch mine, mine look terrible too. My knees are, but I'm managing, you know. That's what I so when I started talking about you with your running, I was so impressed with your running. It's like, how in the fuck did you keep your knees in shape? It's just everybody's different, you know.
Yeah,
Surgery?
yeah. I mean, it's what I found, Tom, is the more I run, the better my knees feel. And for me, is my sweet spot. If I run 3 days a week,
Uh-huh.
it hurts.
Really?
So yeah, yeah, yes. So I mean, so having that ability to cross train,
Yep.
doing the elliptical or things like so it's
Tony, I'm
it's
telling you,
going
I am
well.
I
But
am
we'll
totally
see.
in love with the rower. The really good rower. I'm gonna buy one. When we get
Oh,
all
you
the
go.
money
Oh, okay.
back,
Huh. Huh.
I'm definitely gonna get a rower for the house here because
Okay.
it's one of the expensive ones. I'm not getting a cheap one. I'm getting one just like they have at the gym. And I said, Sandy, I'm gonna want to budget this. It's gonna be $1,000 for this thing. And she's like, "Oh, okay." And so but I'm telling you, it's been it has helped me so much. It's fucking crazy
Oh,
because
good.
you can go as hard as you want, or there's on my active rest days, it's a perfect tool on active rest days because on my busy day, Tony, because I count and I do 1,000 meters,
Hmm.
do 5 1,000 meter sets. And
Oh,
so
wow. Huh.
and so and it takes about 5 minutes. I mean, Now, when I'm going slow, it's going to take you about 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So you're not really going that much faster, but it certainly feels that way. So I'm really gotten into the zone 2 training that, you know,
Mm,
that 70-80% thing. And it's like, I really do believe in it. And you know what else I've been doing too, Tony,
mm.
is fasted cardio. So
Huh.
I won't eat much
Fasted
after
cardio.
dinner.
Huh.
If
Huh.
fasted cardio, because I'm
Huh.
going in early in the morning. Like
Huh.
tomorrow, I won't have that because I'm not going to go in and do the big cardio, but I've been doing it every day this week. So
Huh.
you go in and you really can just
Huh.
you get clean. You just, for
Huh.
me, you get clean. And as soon as I'm done with my workout, I bring food with me. I have a banana, an apple, a protein shake. I mean, I come loaded because I'm empty. But hey, I'm telling you, bro, there's a lot of, some people say it doesn't work for them. I don't know. It's worked for me. And
Huh.
so I like the feeling of, you know how it is when you get in those long distances, you start
Oh,
feeling like
sure.
break
Yeah.
through that first, you know, get your second wind and you break through. When you're first getting close to breaking your second wind, you start feeling a little woozy. And that's your blood sugar just doing a freaking catapult, right?
Oh,
And at
yeah.
least that's what
True.
I thought.
Mm.
That's what I've always, you know, thought is something like that, your blood sugar drops, and that's when you really start going into ketosis. So that's what you want. You want a little bit of that to. Did you read Dr. Peter Adia's book?
No.
Dude, I'm going to send you this. You've got to read this book. I'll send
Okay.
you.
Okay. Oh,
I
okay. Yeah.
bought
Yeah.
it on
Yeah.
Kindle.
Yeah.
Andy's reading
Huh.
it now in print.
Huh. Oh,
Peter
okay.
Adia, you will
Huh.
love it. Me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh
Huh.
my God. This book
Cool.
is, I can't believe I haven't told you about this.
That's good.
Book
Yeah.
is
Oh, good.
phenomenal.
Huh.
It's so
Wow.
good. And took him 6 years to write this thing. He's a cardiologist, went to Stanford.
Huh.
And he and I've known him through Joe Rogan, and I kind of didn't like the guy very much. I never watched his videos because I always
Okay.
thought he was an arrogant
Huh.
prick,
Huh.
but he's really smart. You know, you listen to him talk and he's really smart, but he'd come off like a real fucking tool. And it's like, I don't need to listen to your smart ass shit, even though you're smart. Well, in the book, I don't want to spill it, but I'm gonna a little bit. He at the end of the book, he starts talking about his journey into him getting better. And he had some severe mental health issues that he had to
Huh.
deal with, Tony, like we have all had.
Hmm.
And he really deep dived the shit out of it, came clean. And you know what? I look at the guy now in his videos, Tony, and you can see that I can see the difference in the guy's body language. He seems more at peace and he
Huh.
seems happier. It's crazy. But he's like, if you look at Joe Rogan interviews with him in 2019 and now 4 years later,
Huh.
different guy,
Oh,
totally
wow.
different guy. I mean, just amazing. And so, because you know me, man, I'm an energy guy. I can see it,
I
I can
know.
feel it. It's just like, hey, it is
Cool.
what it is. So I'll send that to you. I
Good,
gotta
Tom. Yeah.
get
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
man, it
Yes.
was such a
So,
wonderful conversation. Thank you.
uh,
And
Tom, yeah, like I said, you're an incredible storyteller,
oh, thanks,
and
man.
yeah, yeah, no, but the thing is, I'll let you actually know how the conversations go,
I really, you know what? I'm now you are
along
you
that. Yeah,
serious? You want me to reach out to Luana? Because I will do that right after we get off this call, right now. And I will
yeah,
do that. If you want me to do that, I will do that.
yeah, yeah, no, no, it's
Okay. That's all I need to
uh,
hear. Yeah, you said yes. That's
yeah,
it. You don't have to
yeah,
explain that. I
yeah,
get it. I know exactly what I'm going to say. I'm just going to text her and then I'll just, you know, and we'll see what happens. You know, just let it make her aware.
good,
So,
good, okay,
all right,
yeah,
brother.
all
Talk
right,
to you.
no problem. All right, well,
Call me on
I
Sunday. Would you let me know if you can?
sure, sure, yeah, yeah, I'll let you
Okay.
know. All right, well, Tom, thanks so much, and
My
hugs
pleasure.
to you and Sandy, and have
All right,
a
brother.
very
All
good
right. We'll
weekend.
have fun
All right,
tomorrow
see you.
night
Yeah,
against
okay.
Washington.
I
We're
know,
going.
cool. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right, man. Thanks. I
Holy
appreciate
shit.
your hard work. See you, man. Take
Yeah,
care.
I
Bye.
appreciate it. Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, it's a lot. This is a passion play. Absolutely. Love it.
All right, see you,
You
Tom.
make this, you make doing this shit fun, bro. I'm telling you.
It is
That's why
fun.
this show's our best show. By far, I guarantee you,
Okay.
better than Jake. And
Okay.
Jake's was fucking great.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this one was just you and I just going, and it was just
Good.
like it did, because we know what we want to do. We know how to play together. That's part of the magic of doing talk radio, Tony. And now this video stuff is like it's it's got to have that people thing. It's got to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
connectable,
No, it's
right?
true. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said,
That's it.
you have to connect at the heart.
You do.
Yeah, you
Absolutely.
have to connect to
It's
the
got to be
heart. Yeah,
sincere. It's like,
yeah.
if you don't, with me, it is, you get what you get.
I'm with you,
That's
brother.
it.
I'm with you.
That's it, bro.
All right.
I'm way past the years of worrying about, what do I want to wear tonight?
No,
Those
that's
things
for
are
sure.
long gone.
True.
All right, man. I'll talk to you
All right,
later.
Tom. All right, thanks so much. All right, see
Bye,
you.
Tony.
Take care. Bye. Yeah, bye.
See you. All right. Wrap this bad mofo. So you guys, if you watch this whole thing, which is probably 2 hours long, and I apologize, but I don't really apologize because it was so much fun to get with Tony and talk about these things. And I'm really, I'm really leaning hard to hope we need talent like him in Mid-Michigan. I mean, this guy's a world-renowned pediatric neurosurgeon. How many of those, how many there are in the world with his talent? And I saw the stuff he did at Michigan State when he was there for those 3 years of those really hard times. And he helped do a lot of healing, a lot. And he and I, we just was very, very fortunate. Vinny Gore doing it again. The guy's amazing. I've loved Vinny Gore. If those of you who are listening to this, watching this, you know who I'm talking about. He put us together. The rest is history. All right. Love it. Thank you. Like, subscribe, do all those cool things. Appreciate it. And look at the Dad Talks in the morning. Look at the Dad Talks in the morning and be ready because I do use some language. Okay. So peace out.